Okay, can we start?
Yes, sir. So,
Yeah. So we will discuss about functions of family today. It is not directly there in your syllabus, but there can be question from functions related to family. So I'll discuss these areas. Today I'll discuss about functions. Okay, functions of family. Then we will also talk about structure of family. Mainly we talk about structural changes in family and what are the reason why these changes. What are the changes in structure and what are the reasons for change in structure. And then we will move on to discuss about joint family system in India. Okay, so this is what we are planning to cover. So let's start with functions of family. So this is a common introduction. I'm not going to give you this in a paragraph form, so bullet points are there, that too not completely written. So you need to develop your answer. Since it is not there in your paper, I'm not preparing the PDF for this. Okay, so this is not in the answer format, but I'll tell you how to write if it is a short note, if it is a long question. So you can give this introduction. Family as an institution is considered universal. One or the other form of family exists in all known societies. The existence of family must be seen in terms of recognition to its structure and the specific function which is culturally assigned to it. Okay, so the structure of family, briefly, mainly if you talk about what is the structure of family, there will be a husband, wife, child, maybe the parents. Okay, so that's the structure of family. Different structures of family we have already seen, and the specific function. So family provides certain functions which is culturally assigned to it. So this is a brief introduction. Now when we talk about the function, your answer should have 4 dimensions. Firstly, you will be talking about the functions which is discussed by various thinkers. So you will be starting with few thinkers, maybe 2 or 3 thinkers that you know. I'm giving you here around 5 thinkers. Okay, so you need to write around 2-3, mainly Murdock and Parsons. These two are the most important persons, and to an extent Ogburn, Nimkov also you can write. So maximum these 3 if you can remember, or it's up to you. These 2 are the most important people, right? Murdock, GP Murdock, yesterday also we have discussed about him, and Parsons. So the first part of your answer will be functions as discussed by the thinkers. Then you need to write subjective predisposition. Tell me what you mean by the subjective predisposition. Can anyone tell me? What is this? What do you mean by subjective predisposition? Subjective predisposition means manifest function, right? So we will see manifest function and social function. Social function means latent function only. Okay, so you have to identify manifest function, latent function. So if you remember the paradigm, Merton's paradigm that we have discussed, so what he was saying, he's saying you have to go for a post factum analysis. That means so far the theories which have been conducted, analyze it. That's what we are doing in this part. We are talking about the thinkers. Then what we are doing, we are talking about the subjective predisposition, means we are trying to identify the manifest function. Then we are trying to identify the societal function, social function or societal function, that is a latent function. We have discussed in detail about this. Then you also need to talk about dysfunctions, right? So it can be manifest dysfunction, it can be latent dysfunction. So dysfunction we will write from the point of view of thinkers. You don't want to write anything. So because these are radical views, so we will quote the thinkers and we will write the dysfunction. Now you don't want to go for net balance or alternatives here. Apart from that, with this itself you can complete. Okay, so even if the question is related to functions, you also have to talk about dysfunction. Many a times I have told you in the class why you need to write that. So how to make a balanced answer. So when you're writing dysfunction, you're actually using a conflict perspective, right? So you're bringing a new perspective, or it can be a neo-functional perspective. Even Merton also talking about dysfunction. So you also have to identify the dysfunction in your answer. So functions, so this is how functions is discussed by thinkers. Okay, then you have to go for the manifest function. Okay, then you have to go for the social function or societal function or the latent function, the hidden function, then the dysfunctions. Okay, so if you go with the functions as discussed by thinkers, the first one, GP Murdock is giving 4 functions. Okay, Parsons 2 function, Ogburn Nimkov, 5 functions. Durkheim was talking about function. Ronald Fletcher is also giving certain functions. Now you can find all these in Essential Sociology. Apart from that, if you see Harlem-Bose, you will find this all functions. Apart from that, IGNO material also you will find all this. Okay, so I'm expecting all of you have this Essential Sociology, so you can get it directly. Now here also I will tell you, I haven't incorporated in the PDF, I have just written the name. Okay, so when you go for GP Murdock, in his book Social Structure, those who want to, you can take it down now, only just 4 points. Okay, in his book Social Structure, he's talking about 4 functions. So what are the 4 functions according to him? First one is economic function. That means family is giving an economic security to individual. Family is the agent, which is the initial, in the economic placement of the individual. I've told you when we discussed about Marx, when a person is born, he is born in classes. So from birth to, it is a family who is fixing your economic position. It is a economic security also. Family work as an economic unit also. So all these things we have seen in the definition also in the family are an economic unit. Okay, so even the traditional definition and in the more liberal definition also we have seen this as the most important point. So second one is it controls reproduction. So reproduction is another function of family. Third one, it regulates sexual relation. So sexual gratification. In the previous session also we have discussed about Murdock. I've told you all these points there also. The culturally acceptable or socially acceptable sexual gratification or sexual relation between 2 adults of both sex. Okay, then socialization of children. So I've told you this is the first association. Family is the first association. Family in itself is an institution as well as an association, and family is the first association in which any person is actually a member, and family is the socialization agent for any person in the beginning. So this topic is actually there in your ethics paper also. Okay, sources of ethics, and there family, the role of family in that context you need to prepare. So family is actually doing the socialization of children. That is one important function of family. So these are the 4 functions according to GP Murdock. Every textbook, any textbook related to family, if you see, without this, no textbook will be there. So either you can write it down. That's why I have only written the names, and since it is not there in the syllabus, we are not focusing in the actual write-up. Okay, so here that 4 functions. Then when it comes to Parsons, this is also common, Harlem-Bose, everywhere you will find Parsons. Primary socialization of children. Primary socialization of children. Like exactly the same point is what this Murdock also discussed. So socialization of children is one of the most important role. And then stabilization of adult personality. Okay, when we are growing up, the personality stabilization is also done by family. Okay, and when we discussed about adaptation, goal attainment, integration, latency, AGIL model, there also we have discussed latency with the context of family, right? So tension management, etc. That's what we mean by personality stabilization. So here stabilization of adult personality. Okay, so these are the 2 functions according to Parsons. Then if you go for Ogburn and Nimkov, these are direct, easy only. First one, affectional, and then economic. Affectional means it is a emotional connection. Okay, emotional security. So economic security, economic placement of individual. Then third one, recreation. Okay, then protection and educational. Protection or protective and educational. Okay, so these are the 5 functions Ogburn and Nimkov highlighting. Then if you go for Ronald Fletcher, not all these thinkers are required. 1 or 2, maybe maximum 3 is enough, because you are going to write other dimensions also. In dysfunction also you are going to write the thinkers. Apart from that, manifest function, latent function, you need to write from your own observation. You can borrow from the thinkers but you don't want to quote too much of thinkers, okay? Ronald Fletcher. I've seen a lot of papers, a lot of students are writing the test series, so I can see that all these people are just filling the answer sheet with the thinkers. That will give an opinion that you don't have any view, you don't have any perspective, so you just learn these points from somewhere and just reproducing it. So that cannot be a sociological answer. If I'm just writing what all things I've told you in bullet points, this is not a sociological answer. That doesn't reflect the personality or the knowledge that you have. Okay, so any answer, if it is 20 marker, the main objective is not only the content, it should reflect that personality or that, knowledge and the depth also. 10 marker you can write just like this in bullet point, but 20 marker, that won't do. Okay, so Ronald Fletcher also talked about multifunctional family. A lot of functions are there for family, so he is giving multiple functions. Every thinker is doing the same thing. So basic functions exist and other functions are reinvented. Okay, so basic functions means emotional security, economic security, sexual gratification, etc., and few other functions also reinvented. Okay, so if you look into individual perspective, firstly physical security from the childhood, right? Physical security is there. Then emotional or psychological security, then economic security. Everybody, these contents are there. That is what I mean by elementary functions are there, basic functions are there. Apart from that, few others also. Legitimate means of sexual gratification. Okay, so sexual gratification, entertainment. Okay, then it gives ready-made status. It could be class status, it could be caste status. When you are born in a particular family, you will be getting that caste status of that family and the class status of that family, right? So ready-made status. And then what Parsons said, exactly the same thing, initial socialization or primary socialization. So initial socialization, only maybe the words different, concept is same, initial socialization. Now the changing trends, if you see the changing trends, individual basically now relies more on peers and friends for securities, right? Especially emotional security, the psychological security, etc. So apart from this, there are rise of alternatives, right? I've told you when we discussed about Merton, one of the function of family is taking care of child. Now for that there are alternatives. Taking care of old, there are alternatives. Okay, there are hospitals. Okay, the play schools, for entertainment, multiplexes and media, everything. There is nothing which is only provided by family. Okay, even sexual gratification also not necessarily family. So these are the changing trends according to this person, Fletcher. Okay, then adult personality stabilization. So we have discussed about primary socialization and adult personality stabilization. So that role is nowadays taken care by law, police, etc. So judiciary, they will take care of the adult personality stabilization. Okay, now if you look into societal perspective, these are individual perspective. Societal perspective, family actually provide members to society. So family provide members to society. Okay, so it is also act as an agent of cultural transmission. But this is a case before. Nowadays mostly media, schools, etc., friends, etc., playing the major role in cultural transmission. There is a change in culture and all these are because of media, school, friends, etc. Then societal perspective, another point you can write is it is a mechanism of social control. But here also it is changing now. I have told you already, law, police, etc., right, will take care of the social control. Again, when we discuss about unit of economic production, because ready-made jobs are earlier But now focus is on corporate jobs, better social mobility, better geographical mobility. So that is a focus now. So there is a change in this trend also. So what we have discussed now is basically from the individual perspective and societal perspective. But most of the functions are same. You just need to say that some of the functions are now changing. There are alternatives, okay? So I hope you understood. Okay, and Ronald Fletcher, he actually gave a conclusion that he says functions of family actually increased. Okay, because family is actually providing or making the necessary provision for training and choices of individual. So family is the reason why you are attending these classes. Family is actually helping you to go for training, not only these classes from your childhood onwards, the school in which you're studying, the training that you're getting, the choices that you're selecting. Family is playing a very key role. So in the modern society, in the individualistic society where everything is based on mobility, goal, okay, but still family is what actually shaping your goal mostly and providing the necessary training to reach that goals and everything. So the function of family is increasing in the modern society rather than decrease. Okay. So are we done with this? Next is we will see subjective predisposition. This is not a big one. This is not that difficult. Subjective predisposition means manifest functions. Okay, so you will write economic security or emotional security, physical security, mental security, sexual gratification, provision of socialization, and reputation means status. Okay, so you are getting the status when you are born. So these are manifest functions. Then these are latent functions. Okay, latent functions, manifest here, latent function, or objective consequences or objective manifestations. Objective manifestations. So cultural transmission. So this is what? This is a societal perspective I have told you. This is what? This is the individual perspective I have told you. The intention or the meanings attached by the individuals. So here societal perspective. So we are talking about functions by thinkers, then the individual perspective, then societal perspective, then dysfunctions. Okay. So here tension management, care of the aged, all these are societal perspective that we have already discussed, right? Mechanism of social control, okay? Then cultural transmission, we have discussed it. Reproduction, here you can add reproduction, okay? Tension management, okay? Care for the aged, care for the child, all these we can write here. You need to elaborate it, everything you need to explain in your language. Latent function, few more latent functions have written here. Family as the unit of economic production, economic placement of individual. I have already told all these points. So you can connect this, okay? So it is actually a continuation. Now dysfunctions, these are specific views of thinkers. You don't want to write anything here from your side. Okay, family as a status quoist. Status quoist means it won't promote change. It won't promote social change. So family is actually shaping you to accommodate and adapt to the situation. So if this particular job, the bureaucratic job is good, means family will always tell you to go with this job. Teacher's job is found good, means family will force you to go with that job, right? So it is a kind of status quo, and family won't promote revolution according to Marx, and that is the reason why workers are getting exploited. So family is the reason why the revolution is not actually happening. Family is suppressing the emotions of the individual. Family is the agent of capitalist who is controlling the revolution. So family is actually helping in maintaining emotions, and that is the development of consciousness, etc. is actually prevented by the family. So family is actually a status quoist, or family promotes status quoist according to Marx. Now David Cooper, what he's saying is in his book Death of Family, he considered family as an ideological conditioning device, okay, in an exploitative society. So David Cooper is also a Marxist, so he's saying family is an ideological conditioning device. So family condition your mind in such a way that you will go and work in this particular domain and you will not question anything, you will be submissive, etc. Okay. Then Edmund Leach, R.D. Lang, Margaret Benston. So Margaret Benston is actually talking about sexual abuse, unpaid labor of female, okay? And then Karl Marx, that is what status quest I've told you. Status quest, family assures conformity to the individual, conformity of the individual and submitting to the capitalist for the exploitation, status quest idea. Family is a neutralist device, it prevents creativity of a child, okay? Then corruption is because of family, because people are becoming more ambitious, ambitious family. This we will study in paper 2 also, the study Krishna Kumar study. So corruption is the reason. There is a family behind every corrupt man, okay? Sexual abuse we have written here. Neutralization, that is also written somewhere, okay? So these are the criticisms, and you can see here Murray Strauss says marriage license is a hitting license. So it shows the sexual abuse, it shows the domestic violence, etc. Edmund Lee says the parents and the children huddle together in their loneliness, expect too much out of each other, the parents fight and the children rebel. Expectations actually hurting the family. So this is how you need to write the answer. You should talk about, so that is a structure, talk about the function. So I would recommend you to go for essential sociology for this particular topic. It is very beautifully covered. All the thinkers are covered over there. You will get all these thinkers. You may get some 2 additions also. Okay, so this is manifest function, this is latent function. So you write it down in your note: manifest, latent and dysfunction. Here we are not separating manifest and latent, but we are writing the dysfunctions as discussed by the thinkers. So that will give you a very good answer. Okay, any doubt? We can discuss now. Then we will discuss about structure of family. So the question can be, what is the change in structure? What is the reason for the change in structure? Like that you will get questions. So function, any doubt? This is very simple topic. These are very simple topics only, don't take it light. Yeah, tell me if you have any doubt.
Sir, here they didn't talk about conflicts in the families.
Yeah, we are talking about conflict in the family. There are many, all these are related to conflict in the family, dysfunction, status quo or sexual abuse. Everything is related to conflict only.
Okay, sir.
Domestic violence, everything is related to conflict. It is not necessarily manifest conflict between people. Conflict means contradictions. So once we are done with Marx, don't see conflict as, fight between 2 people. So domestic violence is not the conflict. I would say in that contradictions is what you need to say as conflict here. So that should be the level of maturity that you need to have once we're done with Marx. Okay, we have discussed about the other physical conflict also. Conflict means contradictions. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So now we will start with structure of family. So I have given you the introduction here. You can see introduction. Structure means the pattern of relationships. Okay. The structural studies of family identifies the nature of relationship. The structural studies of family identifies the nature of relationship between different units of family. Theoretically, the relationship within family are either blood relation, is what you call as consanguineal relation, marriage relation, affinal relation, and in certain cases, relationship of adoption. Blood relation is also known as consanguineal relation. Marriage relation is also known as affinal relation. Apart from this, structural studies examine the exact nature of relationship between different members. So what do you mean by structure? Structure means pattern of relations. So structural studies means what? Relationship between different members. That is what structural studies are going to identify. Okay, so you're trying to identify the relationship between different members mostly, and you also have to first, so you will talk about the relationship between different members, like who are related by blood, and we will also talk about marriage relation. So we will also have to talk about what are the changes which is happening from traditional society to modern society within blood relation and within marriage relation. What are the new changes? Also we need to write what are the reasons for the change in structure of family. Structure means pattern of relationship. Okay. So when we study structure of family, when we talk about theoretically, two dimension is what we need to see here, because relations are either consanguineal or affinal. So here you can talk about consanguineal relation and affinal relation. Okay. Again, this is not there in the syllabus, but I have seen these questions before. That's why I have taken up this topic. Then structure of traditional family. If you see patriarchal society, right? So Parsons is talking about instrumental head and emotional head. Okay, so that is a system. Instrumental head means the father controls everything, mother controls the emotional aspects. Like father is the main person who is the breadwinner, who takes in charge of everything, but mother is the person who's taking care of the child. Okay, the passive role, that's what you mean by emotional head. So instrumental head and emotional head. So now this role is actually changing when we discuss about modern society. In modern society, both father and mother doing both roles, emotional as well as instrumental role. Mother is also breadwinner, mother also take major decisions, father also take care of emotional aspects of the child, taking care of child, etc. All these things are done by both of them. So that is a change in modern society. Now, okay, apart from this, if you go for, here I have written the factors, I have not written it completely. So what I want to tell you is, so this is what you need to explain. You need to explain this relation and this case. And if you go for a micro level analysis, if it is 20 marker, you have to talk about between relation. First you talk about husband-wife. So husband-wife, what type of relation is it? Conjugal, right? Or affinal. I could say affinal. Conjugal or affinal. Affinal or conjugal, married relation. Okay. So in traditional society, I'm only writing T. Traditional society, it is, the structure is like husband is authoritarian. So authoritarian structure. Modern society, it is cooperation. Please take down along with me whatever I'm saying, please write it down. So this you won't find in the textbook, so please write it down. So husband-wife, conjugal or affinal relation. Traditional society, authoritarian. Modern society, cooperation. Then parent-child. Okay, between them, in the traditional society, if you see, I've told you already here, instrumental head and emotional head. That is in the case of traditional society, father is the instrumental head, mother is the emotional head. But in the modern society, both father and mother playing the role of both instrumental as well as expressive role. That means emotional role. Okay, so that means you can see a diffuseness in the modern society with respect to the functions and everything. So there is a diffuseness, and there is a new concept which I've already told you yesterday, that is philiocentrism. What do you mean by philiocentrism? What is heliocentric family or philiocentrism?
The opinions of children.
The opinions of children. The child is superior, right? So the child view is taken, like when you're buying a car, which car need to be brought, you need to buy, it has to be decided by the child. Similarly, everything is actually decided by the child. So that is what philiocentric family, that you can, this concept is actually given by Maurer, okay? So philiocentric family. Then apart from that, you can also talk about the relation between brother sister. Okay, what is the change? It is similar to this only. In the traditional society, it was authoritarian in nature because traditional society is patriarchal. So brother is enjoying all the authority. In the modern society, it is like a fellowship type. That means cooperation type. Okay, so cooperation or fellowship type. Okay, now apart from this, if we talk about aged and family, what is the in case of aged, in the traditional society, they got a lot of value, they had a lot of role to perform. Okay, so the aged people used to exercise authority in the traditional society, but in modern society, the authority is actually declining. So diminishing authority you can see in the modern society. But even though we are talking about authority is diminishing, So if you talk about these two dimensions, secular dimension and ritual status. Secular means in the modern values, ritual status means the traditional value. In ritual status, ritual aspect, the importance is still there in terms of the solemnizing marriage or any prayer, those kinds of things. The elderly will get the respect and advantage. But modern things like secular matters, what type of education should be provided to the grandchildren, in which school has to be joined, which type of car has to be bought, all these things, there is no role. Okay, so secular values, there is no role for the elderly. We use this word karta, so we can say the role of karta is actually decreasing in the modern society. The karta used to enjoy the authority in the traditional society. Okay, so apart from this, you can also talk about other structural aspects. Other structural aspect, what all things is coming to your mind from the previous discussion? A lot of things I have discussed. We have discussed about weekend family. Okay, we have discussed about dual career family. We have discussed about ding family. Okay, you can also talk about divorce. So what is the case with divorce? In the traditional society, divorce instances was very less. Modern society, instances of divorces very high, and divorce is no more considered as a taboo. And reconstituted family is again very common in the modern days, which were not that common in the traditional family. You can also talk about violence. Violence within family is actually increasing. Okay, we don't want to specifically say violence against women is increasing, violence against male is also increasing. So violence within family is actually increasing. So, and that even shown in the legislation, right? Domestic Violence Act was passed because of that only. So violence, you can write, if you want to, violence against women is increasing, or you can say simply violence is increasing, and that even led to the passage of legislation. Okay, now apart from this, you can also talk about non-institutional. I'm telling you the way you need to write the answer, the point that you need to incorporate here, which we have already discussed. So there is no point in repeating the same thing again in the PDF. So what all things we know from the previous discussion. Non-institutional means what all things you will write. Non-institutional relations. Tell me what all things you will write. From the previous discussion. Live-in family you will write here. Okay, so what all things that we discussed yesterday but that I have not covered today, like brother, sister, husband, wife, okay, parents, children, aged and family, you can write here. So what are they? Live-in. Okay, then single parent, right? Single parent. So that is actually a structural change. You can see the change in structure. So live-in, single parent, gay parent. Okay. Child-centered families you can see now, but few child, right? Few child, maybe one child norm. We have discussed about the six pocket syndrome. Six pocket syndrome, right? Like father, mother, okay, they have only one child, male. Another father, mother, they have one child, female. They got married and only one child. So this child is having all the benefit of this person, this person, this person, this person, this person and this person. So he get his toys and everything from the six pockets. Okay, that's what six pocket syndrome, especially in Chinese system where one parent, one child is a norm. Okay, now apart from this, we will also look into the factors responsible for change in structure of family. So all these are self-explanatory. In fact, all these are there in Essential Sociology also. I have taken these points in the order from there only. So you can read there. Industrialization. Okay, you can explain this. That led to geographical mobility, that led to social mobility. So that led to nuclear family. So you already know right from chapter 1, topic 1, we are talking about industrialization. The love marriage, that is also related to change in structure. Legal factors, okay, so Domestic Violence Act, etc. is actually introduced. Then divorce was through law, so there is a repetition. So these two are actually same. Okay, divorce was actually incorporated through law. Household shifts in family. Okay, emergence of alternative to family and marriage. like the one we have discussed, live-in, okay, single parent, gay parent, etc. that you can write. You don't want to write in that context only this reason. Then growing individualism, okay, educational achievements of women. Because of educational qualification, women marriage is actually delayed marriage, and she is able to get better jobs, okay, job security, and because of this job security there are possibility of breakdown in family, okay. So whatever is coming to your imagine, you don't want a specific study to write all these things, it's up to you. All these are open to you now. Overpopulation and migration, secularization, because of that intercaste marriage, interreligious marriage, etc. is very common. Not only secularization in terms of religion, secularization in terms of everything, in terms of employment, in terms of education, in terms of every social aspects. Secularization lead to changes in family. Media, okay, state policy, various state policy like various state programs, laws, etc. Everything, Domestic Violence Act, everything can be coming under the factors responsible for changes in structure of family. So even apart from this, what all things is fit to your convenience, and whatever is coming to your mind, if you feel that it is not here but it may be possible, it may be a reason, you can write that. Even green revolution you can write, okay, green revolution if you want you can write. Then if you want you can write law sex ratio is also one of the reason. So whatever is coming to your mind you can write, if it is good, okay, if it is fitting into the context. So this is actually a very simple question. Structure, whether it is 20 mark or even 30 mark, you can write, you have a lot of content with you. Okay, next topic is joint family. So can we discuss about joint family now?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Sir.
yeah. Tell me. Tejeshin, you want to ask me something?
No, sir.
Oh, somebody called. Okay. So joint family, this point I've already told you, when you if you need to write in sociological perspective, what all things you need to take into consideration. The easy way in which you can write a sociological perspective is talk about functions and dysfunction. Okay. So this will give you actually the functional perspective and conflict perspective view. Then talk from macro perspective. Okay, so these are something which anybody can do at this level. You can easily do this too. You can also talk about within function, manifest function like we have done today only, and latent function. So individual's point of view and societal perspective, that's what manifest and latent function. Then you can also write about manifest dysfunction, latent dysfunction. Now you also talk about fact versus value. The very same example I have given you before also. Fact, in terms of fact, is it still there, joint family? No, right? It is disappearing. But in terms of value, jointness is there. We all live in nuclear family because of the exigencies, because of the situational constraints. Okay, so we but prefer the jointness. We are always love to be together, unless you are that sufficient. Especially in India, everybody love the jointness. Okay, at least if structurally not dominant, functionally they are joined. Okay, so I think I have used some other word. Structurally they are not joined. Okay, that means structurally when you are seeing the fact, they are not joined, they live in nuclear family, but functionally they joined. That means in terms of any help required in any hospital case, in case of marriage, in case of a death, any such cases, there will be a help from the members of the family. So that's what you can understand. Structurally joint family is rare, it is disappearing, but functionally joint family is what you can see more. So jointness is very important. Okay, so this is what the entire discussion is all about. So the size is disappearing if you understand joint family in terms of the size, but the obligation is not disappearing. We are still having that obligation with the kin members. Okay, so now let's discuss about a joint family. Family system in India is often referred to as joint family system. Traditionally, establishment of family is considered to be a religious affair. Establishment of family is essential for the fulfillment of dharma. Grahastha ashram is considered as an important stage in the life of an individual. In various religious scriptures, the ritual importance of family has been mentioned as recreation, enjoyment, as well as essential for spiritual pursuit. For example, a man cannot even renounce the world without procreating a son. Okay, apart from this, scriptures like Ramayana, Mahabharata discuss in detail the relationship between husband, wife, parent, children, etc. Traditionally, joint family constitute a number of parental groups, only one this is enough. Number of parental groups, okay, and having a high generational depth. So high generational depth means like a father, mother, there's a grandparents, okay, then they have this, okay, like another family, another, okay, then they also have children's, okay, like this high generational depth means at least 3 generations should be there. It can be more also, they also might have married, okay, they also have children, so this is also possible. So high generational depth is very important. Number of parental groups is considered, okay, as joint family. With the establishment of sociology as discipline in India, in the beginning of 20th century, attempts were made to develop a comprehensive sociological definition of family. For example, according to Ayravadi Karve, so you will see this name very common if you read any standard textbook. So you just go through Harlambo's textbooks with respect to family. You will get a lot of thinkers. I am only confining to the exam point of view. Whatever topics is there, I'm sticking to the exam point of view. So whatever is required for your answer, something which you cannot miss, that's what I'm discussing. Okay, so you can obviously supplement it with 2 books, either Harlambo's or you can go with Nitin Sangwan, because whatever is there in Harlambo's exactly the same thing as with Nitin Sangwan. Okay, so a joint family is a group of people who generally live under one roof. The definition given by Ayravadi Karve, live under one roof, who eat food cooked at the same hearth. Hearth means kitchen. Who hold property in common and who participate in common worship and are related to each other as some particular type of kindred. Kindred means relatives, okay, relations. So I'll repeat, people who live under one roof, from the same kitchen, you eat, okay, property in common, common worship, and there is a kind of common relation. Further, according to Henry Maine, Hindu joint family is a group consisting of non-ancestor adopting a son related to these sons through, one second. Okay, so this group consisting of a non-ancestor adopting son, okay, so adopting a son or adopted son, non-ancestor adopted son, and the relatives related to these sons through marriage. So it's like this only, adopted ancestor, there is a family, adopted, that's not necessarily blood relation, and then marriage, okay, so this entire will also be considered as joint family by Henry Maine. So here in all these understanding, if you compare, what are the common things that you can see in joint family is number of generation, joint habitation, so number of generation is common, generational depth is common, joint habitation, that means common residence, they should live under one roof, very important, joint kitchen or commensality, joint property, authority structure, that is karta, the eldest person, and there should be relational aspect. Relational aspect is what you mean by kindred, okay. So these are the basic conditions in case of joint family. Thus traditionally the joint family is considered to be operating as a joint household also, right? Family is already a household, that this concept you anyway know. So traditionally joint family is considered to be operating as joint household also. Now then what happened? Let's say joint household, this is a joint household, okay? So generations, number of families are there, number of generations are here. Now what happened is with time this got split into different small households, okay? So the joint household traditionally underwent a process of fission. So this process is what you call as fission. So the traditional household underwent a process of fission into nuclear household, which individually later on fused into joint household. So what I'm saying is this process is what you call as fission, right? This process is what you call as fission. Then what happened? Later on, this will individually, let's take about this one. So let's talk about that particular family. Okay, this family, if you take, there will be a father, mother and a child. Okay, so he will get married and again we'll have a child, and will get married, again we'll have a child, will get married. So it becomes a joint family and it becomes a joint household. So this is what you mean by the fusion. Okay, so you can just go through it again. Very important concept, this one. The joint family household traditionally underwent a process of fission and fusion. So from here fissioned into small families. Then these small families, like let's say this family became this, and similarly this group also will make such family. Similarly this group also will make such family. And then what will happen? From here fission happens, right? From here fission happens. They get separated or they get separated, and then again fusion will happen. So this will again fusion happen. So this cycle continue. Fission, fusion, fission, fusion. So a joint household with time fissioned into nuclear household, which later on fused into joint household. Okay? Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay. Thus family system has always followed a life cycle. Apart from this, various sociological studies have posed a problem of understanding joint family in India. Okay, the earlier textual view is what you call as Indological view. We will be discussing about this in detail in paper 2. The earlier textual view generated an idealized picture of joint family, which caused the problem of understanding it at the level of fact. So it is not a factual understanding, the correct understanding, it is an idealized picture when you are looking into the textbooks. It was always argued by the Western scholars that joint family system is fast disappearing. After 1920s, attempts were made to generate a more sociological view of family system in India. Why after 1920s is because after 1920s only sociology established as a separate body of knowledge in Indian universities, or I would say sociology started teaching as a separate discipline in Indian universities. We'll come to that later. Later on in 1950s, 60s, 70s, a large number of village studies were done focusing entirely on the understanding of family. Why 1950s and 60s and 70s more is because, you know, post-independence. We got independence, so immediately you need to do the welfare programs and everything. So this is from the point of view and the perspectives of welfare policies, you need to understand the family. These studies generated a field view of family. So this can be a question, what is field view, what is book view? That itself is a question. And what are the field views of families? You need to read. In this regard, the studies done by IP Desai, I will discuss that study, A.M. Shah, K.M. Kapadia, Airavati Karve, M.S. Gore, M.N. Srinivas, Milton Singer, Pauline Kolenda are very significant. Okay, so we cannot discuss each and everything. I may discuss this IP Desai, but mostly all are having the same conclusion. So one or two we will discuss. These studies developed an understanding of joint family based on the continuum rather than in terms of dichotomy of nuclear and joint family. So continuum means what they are saying is it is not completely nuclear. It is not completely nuclear like in the case of West. At the same time, it is not joint family also. So in between is what you are staying. Okay, you may be close to nuclear, or some family may be close to joint, some family may be in between. Okay, so you may be staying separate, but the jointness is there. So structurally not joint family, but functionally joint family. These words should come in your answer, okay? Structurally not joint family, functionally joint family or functional joint family. Or at the level of fact, it is nuclear family. At the level of value, the jointness is preferred. Sociologically, joint family is understood in terms of degree of jointness instead of extremes. Degree of jointness is what I mean by continuum. Jointness is reflected in terms of common residence, commensality, joint ownership of property, cooperation and sentiments, ritual bonds and obligations. Scholars like I.P. Desai, K.M. Kapadia pointed out that jointness should be looked in functional terms. A functionally joint family lays stress on fulfillment of obligation towards the kin rather than understanding it simply in terms of common residence or common kitchen. So what they're saying is it is not necessary that you need to stay under the common kitchen or eat from the common, if you need to stay under the same roof or same house and eat food from the same kitchen, etc. It is not necessary. It can be a functionally joint family if your obligation towards kins are fulfilled. Okay. The ritual bonds are considered more important than secular bonds. Thus, the concept of jointness has been considered adequate in understanding family system. So, concept of jointness is what you can use now. So, what you need to say, jointness is there, okay, but staying separate. This is what a modified joint family or extended joint family, or in any way you can say modified joint family or adapted joint family or accommodated joint family, okay, so or functionally joint family. Structurally it is not joint family, but functionally it is joint family. Okay, so concept of jointness is very important in understanding the family system in India. This result into a number of adaptation which traditional joint family has witnessed over time. So number of adaptation which traditional joint family has witnessed over time. I.P. Desai in his work Some Aspects of Family in Mahua forwarded the concept of integrated joint family. It is the same only. Integrated joint family means functionally joint family. This conception is based on number of nuclear households having degree of jointness. So here also jointness, but staying as nuclear family, but jointness is there. He understood jointness in terms of orientation of action. If the action of an individual is oriented towards the relatives, the wider kin group, jointness is exist. According to Desai, 60% of the family studied, they prefer jointness. Thus, Desai states, a residentially nuclear group is embedded in social, cultural and other non-social environment which are not the same as those in the societies of West. You can write the statement also, quotation also. So what the statement saying is, it may be nuclear residentially, you are staying separate, okay, but their social, cultural and other non-social environment, they are together. But it may not be the same in the case of societies of West. In societies of West, it may be purely nuclear, not only residentially, in socially, culturally and in other aspects also may be nuclear. But in India, residentially nuclear, but this is there, what? Jointness is preferred. So nuclear family in India is totally different to that of West. Similar conclusions has been drawn by Kapadia in the book Marriage and Family in India. According to Kapadia, nuclear family retain their kinship orientation and joint family ethic. The most families, though most families are nuclear, they are actually joint in operation. Any decision, any important decision will be taken with respect to the relatives, okay, they all will sit together, for example marriage, okay, etc. Or in case of a death also, people from all relatives will sit together and they take decisions with respect to things. Hospital case. Milton Singer in his book 1968 forwarded the concept of modified joint family or adapted joint family. Writing in the context of urban industrial setting, Singer concludes that how joint family have adapted itself to the changes in the economic system. The migrated laborers in the industrial centers behaves like a joint family and has aided the process of economic development. Similar conclusions has been drawn by M. N. Srinivas in his study of entrepreneurs of Okha and Lambert in his study of factory workers of Pune. You don't want to know all the studies, what is their main conclusion, that is what you need to know, because you don't want to write the entire theory or analysis here. The perspective will be required. So again, one more question which can be asked is changes in joint family. So family system in India has undergone profound changes, particularly after independence. family system in India is understood as joint family system, although the importance of family in Indian society cannot be ignored and it continues to be locus of both rural and urban social structure. Still, a broad change in terms of direction can be outlined. The broad changes in the family can be understood at 5 levels. So, the family cycle that we have already discussed, okay? So, we discussed, right, in terms of nuclear household, in case of fission, fusion, etc. So, here the changes, when you explain the family cycle that we have discussed. Where? This. So you talk about the fission fusion process here, okay? Then what you can write is changes in terms of fact value. I've told you in terms of fact it is changing obviously, but in terms of value we prefer jointness, okay? Structural change, yes, we have discussed the structural change. Where we have discussed? Here we have discussed the structural change. So right from here, that particular answer. So when we discuss about the change, right from there. Functional change, that also we have discussed. Where? Here. Here, okay. So that also you can write. So from the discussion only, family cycle we have discussed, structure we have discussed, function we have discussed, changes you can write. A structural change I have told you, traditional society to modern society. Functional change also we have seen. This also I have told. Futuristic dimension, live-in family, live-in, gay parent, single parent. That also we have done. So, yeah, that's it. Any doubt? That's it for today.
Sir? Sir, this thing can be used in both paper 1 and 2. Or means we have to make some differentiation?
No differentiation, no differentiation. Actually, joint family I have taken now from paper 2 only. This is paper 2 discussion.
Yeah. So I ask, we can also write in one paper 1 when they ask like that.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Paper 2 content, you don't want to write in paper 1 too much, but paper 1 you may be able to write also. But in case of family, make it specific. You don't want to write M.N. Srinivas and K.M. Kapadia, etc. in paper 1.
Okay.
Rather, you focus on thinkers like Murdock, Parsons. They are the international level
Foreign thinkers.
Yeah.
Foreign thinkers like that. Okay.
Okay. Any doubts? Now we will go fast because we can finish the syllabus faster. All these are very easy. If you are strong in thinkers, all these things could be interpreted easily. So that is the idea. And now we will go just like that. Very speed we can finish. In case any doubt is there, we can discuss also, not a problem. Yeah.
Sir, which will be the next chapter you are gonna take?
Now, family itself, one or two topics I am yet to discuss. Lineage and descent I need to discuss, and one more topic is there. So after that.
Okay, sir. After that, which chapter?
After that, I think I will go to paper 2 different paper 2 thinkers also we will discuss. Once we complete that 3 thinkers, A.R. Desai, M.N. Srinivas, and this Indology, G.S. Gurye, these 3 thinkers also, if you complete, then we are free. Then we can go just like that.
Okay, sir.
So that 3 thinkers I may take 2 days or 3 days. I will finish it off. Indian thinkers, all the 3 thinkers can be finished even in 1 day or maximum 2 days. That's enough.
Yes, sir. It's a little bit simple.
Yeah, it's very simple. Tell me, Tejashni.
Sir, in yesterday's class, I have a doubt, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, in non-institutional under non-familial, you told you gave an example of people living under pavements.
Yes.
But even there, the families who live under pavements, no, sir.
Families also live under pavements. So that is also.
That come under non-familial or familial, sir?
No, families that will come under familial only.
Familial under that complex.
Yeah, not complex. If it is a joint, it will never be joint family, no. It will never be extended family. It will be nuclear family only. So simple simple. It will come under simple.
One parent group.
Yeah.
What about evangelical, sir?
Avangu local, after the local means the place where you stay after the marriage, right?
No, evangelical.
No, I'm saying local on the basis of what that concept is coming. Neo-local, duo-local, avangu-local. It is based on the place in which you stay after marriage. So, patrilocal means you stay in the husband's house. Matrilocal means you stay in the wife house. Duo-local means you stay in both house. Neo-local means you establish your own house. Avangu-local means you stay in uncle's house, wife's uncle's house, because the identity is attached to the uncle. That is a special case in Nayars among Kerala.
Okay, sir. So, and there can be a childless family also, no, sir?
Childless family also possible. That is also nuclear family. Husband, wife without child also nuclear family.
Okay, sir.
Adopted also nuclear family. Child also nuclear family. But yesterday I've given you the typical idea. That is also possible. Childless family is also possible. Ding family is also a nuclear family.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Can we stop here?
Yes, sir.
So we'll see from Monday. No class tomorrow. Day after tomorrow also. Monday we'll see.